start the meeting of the Irvington Architecture Review Board. I will ask that anybody that comes up to speak loudly. The microphones are not here, the normal microphones. So if you would just turn that facing up. Maybe that'll help, but I'd ask you to speak loud and let us know who you are if you are not the applicant, and if you're not the applicant's name that you are representing. So as we normally do, we will go in ascending order from the way the applications were received. That would bring us to ARB 19-24, 27 Hudson Avenue, solar panels.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jacqueline. I'm with Sunrun, and I'm the applicant.
So you're not just an applicant, you are the vendor.
Yes.
My first question is why so many panels? 9.86 kilowatts is huge for that size house.
So it goes, the system size goes based off their usage. That's where we get the information from, and we try to meet their system, what they regularly use for their electric.
I gotta tell you, this is the first application we've seen that had panels, a lot of panels on every roof, all four roofs.
So how many, so can you just go over the application? So what are you proposing?
So it's 34 panels, like you said, on all sides of the roof. And it's, I think maybe it seems like a lot more because if it was just, on the front or back and there was 30 of them in a rectangular square shape, but because the roof is so odd shaped that they kind of just tried to fit them on as much as they could. And you can only fit a few with the setbacks.
What is this? Okay, so it's coming half in, half out of the roof.
Yeah, so on page PB 4.2, it shows that is the chimney on the house and then the fire setbacks.
So do you think you'll get enough benefit from the north facing? I mean, they're north facing. I know you get a little bit of east and a little bit of west, but it seems like it would be sort of minimal.
Yeah, it's not as much as from the south side because the way the sun rises and sets, but yeah, it does. It does benefit it. The exact amount, I'm not sure. But when the designers do this, they have little calculations that they use.
So the bottom line for this roof is you have 8 panels facing north, 9 panels facing south, 8 panels facing east, and 9 panels facing west.
Correct.
It's not an array we've ever seen before.
Because of, again, the shape of the roof planes and the setbacks that we have to take into account for 3 feet, and I believe it's 3 feet.
And Rick, there was a photo of the house and what was surrounding it in terms of either other homes or vegetation. It's pretty exposed, right?
It's very exposed.
I have a couple. You have the picture?
This is the color picture. You have a black and white picture.
And which is
Hudson.
Oh,
That's the
Hudson.
front of the house.
Which orientation? South.
This is an aerial view of what it would look like, and here is the house to the left and to the right, the adjoining driveway. And then this is like a rendering of what it would look like from the street.
And there's not a tree or anything covering this any side of the roof.
On the sides of the roof, are the the panels viewable from the windows in the house next door?
So the house next, because you could, here's the house from the left. I'm not sure what window they have here, but from the right, this house is a lot lower than it, so they wouldn't be able to.
That's the right of the house.
That's
The other house, the west side. The west side doesn't show windows.
So you're saying there's no windows on the
We
west?
don't know.
Oh.
It doesn't show, pictures that we have don't really show the windows.
And unfortunately, this is the only design that they would be able to come up with to meet production.
So what I'm wondering is there some angle that the sun's gonna hit on the west side here and reflect into that house?
There's solar panels are made with a covering to not reflect sun. They absorb the sunlight, they don't reflect it. There's actually been studies show that on a scale of, I don't know the exact number, 1 to 8, it ranges down at the low end of a 1 or 2 of reflection. That blacktop and snow and all that actually reflect more than solar panels ever will. There's been many studies done to show that.
Studies can't argue with the fact that we had someone who lived on Lewis Road, that when solar panels were put in, they couldn't sit on their porch on like three weeks out of the year because the reflection of it might have been the trim around it. I don't know whether the trim was not painted flat or it was a glossy finish, but I'm not so sure that would be a major issue today. I just,
It's a pretty low pitched roof. It's under 30 degrees. So even the reflection of it and the houses being at the same height and below it, it's not going to reflect into anything of those.
on this array here, could these three be moved over to be in line with these, and not affect the,
No, so
could they get any closer?
no, so what it is it has to be a certain distance from the chimney because then the shade will block it and that panel will become useless.
Well, 33 others. Like I said, I've never seen this many panels on such a small house. And what about here? Could these four move over?
It's fire setbacks that are required
No.
by New York State
Okay,
law.
so the fire setback is here.
If you look on here, all the panels are right up against the fire setbacks. There's no way to move them over.
No, all right. Show me the picture. I'm talking about those four moving closer, up the top.
The north- the
Yeah, those
north?
four are moving that way.
There's a vent pipe.
I know, but if you come up, I mean, the other one's right up against the vent pipe.
That's also in the back of the house.
All right, let's go back to our guidelines. All measures should be taken to avoid glare, blah, 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 we know that story. To the greatest extent practicable, equipment shall be installed in a manner that minimizes its visibility from surrounding properties and public rights of way while maintaining viability and functional integrity. That, we can talk about. Solar power equipment may be mounted on any section of the roof, provided it meets these guidelines. And the guidelines are, on a pitched roof facing a street or public way, the equipment must be mounted flush with the plane of the system parallel. I don't think I saw in here anything, a section showing the height of the panels off the roof.
All panels sit the same height off, it's just a couple of inches off. Every
What's the
single
top of the panels off the
The
roof?
height?
Yeah, from the roof to the top of the panel. It needs to be less than 6 inches.
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding what you're saying.
From the,
From where the panel sits on the roof up?
no,
Yes.
from the roof surface
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
to the top of the panel. That dimension can't be any more than 6 inches.
they're not. It's not more than
Let's see
6
if I
inches.
have it on here somewhere.
Hard to tell. Is it on PV 3.0?
They all sit about it doesn't show on here, but they all sit about 3 inches off the roof.
that would mean it's only an inch above the roof, the back of it. It's only a 2-inch panel, which most of them are. All right, the other, as we go on, the equipment shall be installed so as to appear regular in shape and arranged in a pattern that conforms with the general shape and configuration of the roof upon which it is mounted. When the arrangement of equipment is broken up by a building feature, the equipment shall be arranged symmetrically. What I'm trying to do is make those panels, these panels and these panels symmetrical, which at this point they are not.
I completely understand that, but every roof surface is different, and it's not, you're not able to do that on every single roof surface. If this was a front and back or west-east bridge that just went down the center, we would be able to do that. But because of the shape of this roof,
So you're telling me these 4 panels cannot be moved over to that roof?
I'm gonna say that's probably, it looks like a lot of space there, but it's probably a matter of inches in between there.
The problem is though, if the array does not comport with what we're charged to do, you can't have the panels. So that's why the chair is trying to work with you.
I understand that,
Your only alternative is to remove those panels from that section of the roof.
but is there not consideration for when this doesn't really apply to a certain roof? Do you guys not stray away from what you have down?
Not every-
Because you have to take every home into consideration. They're not all shaped the same. You may have,
I
got that together working on a single bridge roof, but not all of them are single bridge roofs like this one.
I hear you, but not all roofs can accommodate solar panels too, in the fashion in which the homeowner or the vendor wants them to be accommodated, especially if it's visible. And that's what's the other part of what we're responsible for, is what those other than the homeowner are seeing day in and day out. So
Well, the ones on the front of the roof are as symmetrical or as nice in order as they could be.
As they are on one other side. It's just the other 2 sides that we're concerned about.
But again, the pitch of the roof, they're very minimally able to see. If it was a 40 pitch roof, it would be different.
This one I would be concerned about because of this house. This is the high house, that's the low house. So they'll be looking straight at them. If it's not symmetrical, it's going to be ugly to see.
I drove over there, you'll see them as clear as day,
Oh, yeah.
from the whole neighborhood. So,
Anybody have any other
no,
questions?
I mean, I agree with you, Rick. I mean, I understand how important the village views its installation of solar panels when the homeowner requests them, but at the same time, this is a very exposed house with a very unusual roof, and you've got 34 panels, and there's a low pitch, and the next door neighbors are going to see these panels. So I think it, frankly, is not in the applicant's best interest to take a vote tonight. I would go back and make sure that you're saying that you need this many panels to meet the need for production. I would question whether that's
I mean,
true.
It is true, it's by law that you can, this electric company will deny an application if it is not shown on their actual electric bills that that's the wattage or kilowatts that they use per month or per year. So it is New York state law, and it will get denied and rejected. We've seen it happen before. So
Well,
to even get
I
to
gotta
this
tell you,
point, it needs to be approved by
On a
them
house this
first.
size, you do not need 34 panels.
But
Almost
you-
10,000 watts of power.
But you don't, I mean, I understand what you're saying, and it may seem like a lot, but again, it is done off of their electric bills each month and regulated by the state and the electric company to never go over what is actually used by their homeowner. And it may not be a big house, but you don't know
So what you're telling
exactly
me
how
is,
much you're using.
if I wanted to put solar on my house,
Mhm.
I'd have to put enough solar panels to get up to the amount of energy that I use?
You don't have to put as much, but the whole point of getting solar is to help you save money and reduce your electric bill. You cannot go over your usage, that's what I'm saying. But you don't have to put the amount of what you're actually using, but again, that's the point, to save money on your electric bill. So you want to get as close as possible to it.
Anybody else have any other questions?
I feel the same as what the chair has articulated. I think it's an unusual roof design, and again, it's very visible. If you ask us to vote tonight, I'm not sure you're going to get the approval you're seeking, so the only thing I would suggest to the applicant is I would go back and see if you can't verify and double check that you can't do with less panels so that array is more symmetrical.
Is that what you want to do, or you want us to take a vote tonight?
One of you guys are gonna vote against it, so I'm not gonna have you vote tonight.
All right. I will put continuation on it, and you can come back with, you know, if you address some of the concerns that we have.
It's the look of the array, right?
Well, it's the symmetry of the array. And if we can eliminate some of these panels, that would work. Because the front and the south side are clearly seen from the road. The north side is going to be right in your neighbor's window. The one on the back is the most symmetrically troublesome. But I'd almost not really have a problem with that because it's in the back. Even though there's somebody back there, it's high enough that I don't think it's going to bother them. So if we were able to come to, you know, some conclusion in that regard, then we'll rehear it at the next meeting.
And are the photos sufficient for us next time to understand what each of the views are?
Well, if it doesn't change, it is, yeah. I'd like to see if it's going to change, and we need to see, you know, the revised array layouts.
Okay,
All right?
so I just resubmit to the building department and then
Yes.
when I do, we'll get put on again?
He'll know tomorrow morning that it was continued.
Okay.
And then you can call him and you know, find out from him what the procedure is going forward.
You don't have to submit the entire packet, you're just submitting that one.
We're going to keep these
We're
packets.
gonna
Just
keep
the
them.
one, oh, okay.
You-
Whatever you're going to change, then
Yeah.
we need, you know,
But if nothing else
revised
changes in
paperwork.
the rest of the package, the application, you don't have to resubmit the whole package again, just the sheet that you're proposing, that may be different. And if it's not different, you don't change anything, you're just gonna resubmit it as is.
Okay, sounds good, thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is ARB 19-25, 11 North Ecker Street. In addition. Sorry. Okay.
Douglas McClure, I'm the architect for the Casanis at 11 North Ecker Street. The project is mostly an interior renovation, but because of the kitchen work, we're adding some windows, rearranging some windows to the second floor, and putting a deck. The kitchen right now is in the basement. We're moving it up to the entry floor, so we've added a sliding door and deck on the back so they can get from the kitchen to their backyard. We came to the planning board and zoning board and have all our variances. The windows will match the windows for the rest of the house. The house is a brown shingle, so we will, you know, all the patching will match that. The trim is white. And then the detailing on the back deck, the railings, etc., will match the railings on the porch in the front will all be painted.
Where's the other railings that are being changed?
The upper railings on the front right now don't match below, and they're actually too low to meet code. So we're going to replace them and actually just match the pattern of the lower railings.
I knew there was something else
Yes.
that's being changed. Any other questions? Anybody? No?
No.
Okay. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the application?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
Don't
You're
forget your
not gonna win that
copies.
easy. Doug, you're not gonna win that easy.
I don't want these.
That makes two of
You
us.
guys make me submit them. You guys have to do.
No,
You never
no.
know.
Blame it on that, that's not us.
You know what happens to copies on the job? Oh, well.
Take a deep breath, John.
Have a great evening.
Bye-bye now.
Yeah, we said, it's like,
There's definitely stuff in here we didn't need.
I know, it's sort of, it really goes digital, like he says. So this is a project for renovation of an existing building on Fargo. It's a ranch, small ranch building that's set very low on the site. We did not, I have some renderings of what we're proposing to do, which might be a good place to start. We can go back to renovations if you need. And I have 60 pictures of wall details if you want to look at those.
We know.
So,
John, can I ask you, is the house existing now,
Yes.
or?
there's an existing house that looks almost.
I know the
basically-
house.
Yeah, it's basically just the foundation is
That's
remaining.
left right now? Okay.
Yeah, well, it's there
That's
right
still
now,
there.
but what's proposed to actually remain is really just the block foundation and everything else to be framed up.
Okay.
Just bear in mind that she's a last minute fill-in.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So she, kind of go through it.
yeah, I'll go through.
We're talking 20 minutes ago, John.
So at the very basis, the thing that's interesting about this house, and it has to do with a lot of design, is the passive house. So passive house is a model, system that was developed in Germany. It's probably about 15 years ago now, which is super insulated envelope. So the goal is, rather than try to have efficient energy producing, you just use less energy. So the house, where a house would typically maybe have a 6-inch thick wall, this has an 18-inch thick wall filled with insulation. And so where a normal house would have double pane glass, this has triple pane glass and thermally broken frames. And it's all designed to get to a point where it uses very little heat in winter, very little air conditioning in the summer, makes use of the heat gain of the sun. So like at certain points, you'll see there's skylights in it. We're actually looking for heat gain in the winter to offset the heat loss. And what you're trying to get to is a point like they really, like a house this size would use the energy of about an electric hair dryer. Like that's kind of the level.
Read about
they can
this.
get to. So what it leads to is some funky, you see like, oh, there's all this glass in one place, there's no glass in these other places. And the goal is that you use the glass for view where you need view, you use the glass for natural light where you need it, but you try to limit it elsewhere, and you use its position to provide heat gain in certain areas.
That having been said, that house is very well insulated by trees and shrubs and everything else. Does that behoove this design?
Yeah, well, that helps. So like in certain cases, like you're dropping into that envelope of like if you're losing
Because I don't think
heat
there's
gain
a
in
house
the
around
west.
it that could even
Right.
see that, the existing.
Right, you can't really.
So we're not really gonna damage or remove most of the form.
Right, we're not. And the house that's mostly impacted is the one right across the street, Haley Hallowell's. They were involved kind of early on in the design, and they're excited for something modern. You could have somebody, a neighbor, that would be less excited by this. Just in terms of, these photos are not of the house, these are just a collection of materials that are being used. On the ground level, on the portion of the garage that's not insulated, we're using a board form concrete. So you can see you've probably seen this in certain applications where the board that was in the form work reads through, so you get sort of this striped or some interesting texture. On the wall, this is a little bit of a fancier panel, but we're using this Addis product, which clips together like this and provides a 3/4-inch reveal. The color that we're using for the board is sort of a bronze. And then the other material that we're using is cedar with this color. This is not clear, it has knots, but we would be using a clear cedar with sort of a very simple natural finish on it. And then there's a stucco section on the lower half that will actually be painted, and just sort of this is the palette of the painted stucco. So there's sort of this on a window that's very similar. So the window is a German window. It's basically the window color is just the paint, the paint. So you see, this is the building on the street side. Right now, the house is set very low in the ground. So this level here is approximately the level of the street. So even though here, there's points where it was not towering, its relationship to the street is actually much lower.
How much higher is it than the existing?
About 6 feet. So the ridge of the existing is about that. This is, we're showing it, you see some of the colors we've done are dark, so we just wanted to show you, when it's in shadow, the color will be dark, but when it's in the sun, it's It's not quite as severe as it looks when it's in shadow. So the access to the garage is still below, so the garage is hidden from view from the street, so you don't have to get garage doors and so on. This is the rear elevation, which is a lot of glass. To the west, there's a river, river view, but it's not really a river, it's a seasonal river view. There's master bedroom, suite above, master bath, dining room, the kitchen behind, dining room, living room, kitchen behind, and kids' bedroom is here. And then there's the lower level, that's going to be our finished garage. This is the concrete that we were showing, so it's trying to show some kind of texture on this house. See, again, when the sun hits to the west, it's sort of a warmer palette, so it would be some shadow. There's another view from that side. We have a solar shade thing that is a white painted or an off-white painted liner, so that's the only other material that we show here. That's providing shading to the west. So that's the overall approach that we're doing. We can get into more of the elevation, the details if you have specific questions or want to look at.
Just show them.
So in terms of how the thing sits on the site, and it was sort of located, this is Fargo down here, it was located relative to where the existing house was. The existing house is about this big, and so this portion from here on is the addition. There's a pool that's being proposed, it's in the package, it's a natural pool, so it looks like a pond.
I'm going to ask you to go through that because it was awful confusing.
Yeah, it's very hard
The
to understand.
different parts of it.
Yeah, levels and stuff, so I can go through that. That's, the basis of it is it uses biomatter to regenerate, so there's no chlorine.
That's truly the regeneration pool.
Yeah, it makes its own, it basically cleans itself using carbon.
How much property is this?
It is over an acre.
That little piece on the side was an add-on. It was given to them. You know the story of that house.
That one was. It's adjacent to what's considered a wetland, so that was something we went through. This is like there's a little pond over here. Not really a pond, it's a man-made pond, it's now I think in terms of the floor plans,
Was there fencing proposed on that?
there is pool fencing proposed.
I'll just,
Yeah, it's just basically around the perimeter. Ultimately, it's not shown planted out right now, but it would be planted out, I think, eventually. But certainly, the edge that affects the property owner is all planted out. So, in terms of the proposed floor plans, basement level, you come down, that hill into a lower garage. There's a connection to a lower level entry that would take you up. The downstairs may eventually be developed as habitable space, but not new space.
So are you entering the garage actually from the west or from the south?
From the east, you come down the existing driveway that's there right now. Instead of coming right now, the garage is here in the existing
Yes,
building.
right.
So instead of doing that, you're going straight into the garage.
Oh, okay.
On the first level, there is a main entry here at the entry level that has a walkway associated with it. You enter into the living area. You have a fireplace dividing the living room and the dining room, kitchen, pantry area, and then sort of this becomes the bedroom wing, so the children's bedroom where there's 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, and there's a little that projection where the house right now projects out into the street. There's a little projection of this bedroom. Second level is not the whole footprint of the building, it's sort of a smaller footprint. It's basically a master bedroom suite, master bedroom focused to the west and the south, and then the master bathroom and office space. And you can see this skylights from there. Both exterior elevations. is on the lower volume, in the concrete below. This is the south-facing elevation. There's the metal sunscreen, concrete again, the metal panel. Wood. These look much flatter, which is sort of easier to understand in the 3D renderings because they look like this is set back quite far from the lower level. And again, the rear elevation looks quite flat in this, but there's a mixture of materials. We have the metal panel here, and there's a portion of the wood that is turning down here, and this is all glass. Our goal was to try to make the thing read very horizontally, so there's, the stucco, the metal panel, the wood.
On that side, excuse me, on that side, what's the overall height of the third story?
The overall is 34.7, so it's right at the max height basically that you do there. But again, from the street, it's much more suppressed than it would be if it's 6 inches higher than the existing range. The pool, I believe, is in this package that I just dumped.
It is in there, I saw some of the details.
So this design is driven, it's very client driven. The pond portion of it is this shape here, so that's the actual pool portion of it. There's a deck here with some removable panels that give you access to these regeneration filters below. There's also a regeneration pool that's at a higher level that's providing a sort of a waterfall condition. So here, as you see the section through the pool, over here in the background, there's the higher level that is the regeneration pool, and it's a waterfall that's pouring over this little grotto space. And because it's so high in the grotto, the waterfall comes over.
Before they go down the slide.
Before we get inside. I did argue against the slide because I think kids grow up. The slide is a natural slide, like the part that is actually the slide is going to be a piece of fiberglass that's painted out, but it's not like a huge part of it.
So it's sort of natural looking the way it sort of
Yeah.
on the edge, too.
I just think like,
Maybe it's not for the kids, John.
I know, that's true, yeah, I haven't made many, so but it's,
So at one point, like I said, I see two different depths. I see an 8-foot depth and I see a 6-foot depth. What am I looking at, the two different spaces?
this cut is actually cut through, sort of through this area here, and this cut is set further in the 8-foot depth, so I think it's sloping in 2 directions, if I'm correct.
I mean, that's what,
Oh,
that
wait,
was,
no, yeah, this one, right, so the deepest area is actually where this is, I'm wrong, this is the deeper area, so it's actually like 8 feet here, but it's going down to 6, 7, 8, like that, sort of coming down.
That's what I said, the two different directions, I thought that they were, final directions. In fact, they are going further across.
Right, it's sort of, right, it's sort of shallow end to deep end, like that.
Do you have enough experience or enough knowledge of that regeneration pool to talk about it? Because I assume it's something we're going to see again.
It's actually, the regeneration pool is actually relatively simple. This is just filled with water plants. And then there are these carbon filters that are in here.
Is this a saltwater or?
No, it's just a pond. So you're really building like a pond. And you have control
So it's
over.
fresh water, but it's not chlorinated?
No chlorine.
Okay.
And it's support, so even out in the main pond, you could put plants in, like, pots, like if you wanted to have it planted out more.
I guess when you're entertaining, you can float pots out there and, when people aren't going to use the pool, it's just.
Yeah, could do that. I think part of the issue with these is, they still have to be covered by local, like, so you have a situation where you have to put a permanent pool cover on in the winter, so it's, like, it's not, we don't have a good, we're not really prepared for this. Well, this is the first we've done. You could imagine a future where they were sort of, because actually the little wetlands I pointed to on the property next to it, which is sort of something that doesn't have to be covered.
Right.
Right,
Well, we're not worried about kids falling in it, that's
Right, yeah.
Is there a heating system in this?
There is. It can be heated to approximately 75 degrees. You can't heat it as much as a normal
I'm good
pool.
water until it's 80.
Also, it's gonna look like a pond.
Yeah.
You know, like with
Yeah.
a lot of people, you know, they'd rather be in a pool.
Well, like I said, that's why I asked you to go through it, because it's fairly unique.
I think it has sort of less, like, it has more of a landscape read than a pool would. But I find pools really pretty if they're done the right way anyway, so.
But this has a staircase, doesn't it, to get up to the, yeah.
Yeah, there's a stair up to the slide.
Right.
Stuff like.
So what else is up there besides the slide?
It's just a little access, it's a slide. It's slide, and then you could access the plant area, you could
Oh, okay.
jump off the waterfall. You know, so,
Okay. Anything else in this that you,
I think those are the
things that I wanted to see for sure?
We have the window and door schedule, so that's related, right? 'Cause we got the material.
Yes, yes, they're all in there, and everything is wood. From doors and windows.
Right, they're wood doors, they're Schuko, which is a German company, so the frames are actually, even though they're wood, they have an insulating component within them. So,
Great. How long is it expected to take to build?
well, we're assuming we can do it in like 9 months, like
Is that
a
right?
typical
Typical.
house. I mean, it isn't that much more complicated than a standard house. It's the wall section, it's those thick walls that are going to be challenging, but the contractors that we're looking at it are people that are experienced with passive house, so they shouldn't be thrown by
And
it.
we know that this is not in the, this is not a architecturally significant house to the,
In that area.
yeah, otherwise I'd have two people, you know, looking at
Yeah.
it.
So there's not a lot of existing houses we would do this to. Those ranches are a little unloaded.
Yeah.
It's a nice opportunity for the town.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Really exciting. So the,
For you guys.
the color rendering you showed us is not in the packet?
It wasn't, no.
Can I see it one more time? Oh, man.
Sure.
We don't have this. Oh, that's the back. Wait, now make it up. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the river views at that level will be pretty good. So,
Yeah,
This is pretty, it's a pretty big trees back there.
I don't know, I was in that attic.
That's really funny.
I was, we looked at that house.
Yeah. I think it's super exciting and best of
Yeah.
luck to the owner because I think it's something special for Irvington and great opportunity for your firm and for the village.
Yeah, I was thinking, it has made me, start to reconsider, how hard is it to really get to this point? It may not be that hard, and I have projects that are of a certain scale that cost a certain amount of money anyway, right? What is the delta between what you're spending the money and,
Right.
You really
Percentage-wise,
talking
what do
about
you think?
insulation, that's what we're talking about.
Percentage-wise, what do you think, what the differential is?
I think 8 to 10 or something like that.
What's this now?
Right, so then that becomes a discussion about what's the right thing to do there, especially if you're doing something that's basically a luxury item, right? Right.
I think if you're not, if you don't like modern houses, then it may be more difficult because, how you meld that with, a different type of house.
Yeah, the thing, if you notice on this, the windows are these really deep things, it looks okay, it looks standard, like a modern house, you can get away with that. In a traditional house, that starts to get funky, like if you were suddenly have, like, you can set the window, because the windows are intended to be, they have to be like 12 inches back from the face of the wall. So maybe something that looks Spanish or double, or, like there might be certain language that you could use in a traditional.
Probably at least initially, you're gonna have people who want modern houses if they're thinking in that direction.
Right.
But it's true, down the line, sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of examples of the original ones, like in Europe and in sort of more hippie areas of the country, like Vermont. They used to do like a barn thing, like a very simple barn, like
Yeah.
the window details look different, and it looks like that.
The roof assembly has to be very thick. So the flat roof is more conducive in terms of design
Right.
compatibility.
It's like the barn shaped ones, they look like modern buildings, but they can still have gable shapes.
I know when you want to put your garden up there. All those other things you want to do.
Well, you're not gardening in your pool.
Hydroponic
Yeah,
garden.
exactly.
That's a whole passive system of its own.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the application?
So moved.
Second,
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Wow, that's painless. And
It
you
looks
can be
scary.
happy that there was.
I was gonna say there's a reason.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I guess you're getting the,
Or else
the hernia.
oh, we have this bag extra, we just have to.
Go home and get my card.
Right.
I almost brought it.
Improve on the requirement for.
We tried.
It's not this bird, or
We're all on board on that, by the way. So it's not being held up by us, I agree. Okay, we will now go to the last new matter of the evening. ARB 19-27, 3 Ardsley Terrace, exterior elevation change.
Hello, my name is Saad Foda with Jumar Engineering, and we are representing the owners of 3 Ardsley Terrace, Mr. Steve Silent and Jesse Common. We are proposing a spiral stair to connect the existing on the garage deck to the upper second floor deck. This spiral stair is made out of raw iron painted black. And basically the stair is fitting within the character of the Tudor house with its English garden. So the stair basically is going to be a low-key stair considering the private alleyway and the landscaping that is involved in the house. So the stair connecting the two decks there would be a low-key counter stair, would not be major problems to affect neighborhoods, even if the neighborhoods fall apart. As you can tell from the pictures, if you have motion that came the road from West Clinton, you'll see the corner house is basically covered in the 3 Ardsley Terrace. And further you go in, there is the vegetation that is basically covering the house. Then you get closer, you start seeing some of the garage here. This shot is from the street level. So basically by the time you get to see the stair, you see partial of it, so it's not going to be very prominent in the area. And the spiral stair with the wicket drilling, it's basically a character of an English country garden. So we're not really doing something that may.
So both of these are no?
Like this deck, the lower deck was approved about 2 years ago.
Right.
The upper deck, we just improved it on the upper deck, filling in the spacing to make it as their code, but it's gonna stay brown, cedar painted brown railing.
And so why wouldn't you want the stairway to be?
We're open to the color things. We thought black is a classic garden color, but the board sees that it should be brown, we'll put it paint it brown.
So the railing that was pointed out is, can you just go point that out?
Yeah, this is the railing. This is an existing the railing.
There it is, yeah.
That's the new addition that was done 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The upper railing is there, but we can improve by filling in the gaps to close in
I
the
see.
gap. So it would be within the 3.5 inch that the codes calls for. And it's gonna be matching the upper, same character, but we enclose in the spaces.
And all the window and trim is brown, everything's
Yes,
brown.
all is brown. So if the board are willing to, are open to a color, if the board sees it brown.
It doesn't offend me that it's black. I think it's tucked away. And
It is, well, it is tucked
Yeah.
behind this
Yeah.
eave,
Yeah.
which makes it, this is the front.
I don't know, it's kind of a
This is,
classic
you know, looking
railing
this
color,
way.
so in terms of metal railings.
Yes.
I just thought maybe because
No, I
everything
know,
else was brown.
no, yeah.
And the door's existing.
Yes.
I didn't even think about
This
it,
is the
Rick,
work as well.
honestly, but I drove over and
Yes,
I
that's the
didn't.
kitchen door going to the existing impact.
That's a wood railing, the existing?
The railing,
Yeah.
it's cedar wood painted brown, and the stair would have its own wicket, 50-inch iron railing. I believe somebody did a picture of the stair.
Yeah, full steel. The actual, this paperwork has to come with that.
And this is the minimalistic approach we thought of a spiral stair instead of going into wood stair, but overwhelming the area.
I don't think the views were that in there, because was there an engineer involved in the weight of this thing sitting on
Yes,
the garage?
that's all calculated. It's engineered, and there's a detail. We basically designed two by fours, but we went up to, that's the shot that you use. And then 3.5 inch LVL by 12 inch, which is so they're so close to the exterior wall, so the load is getting there anyway. So we did over design, but
So this is new as well?
we just, what can I do, we can help the ceiling below the garage and move the header in. That's a new header.
Because I mean, that's, all that weight is in, that one little.
Yeah, it's gonna be sitting on the new header, so it's not affecting the structure.
And this is the owner's fence, which is this off-white color, is that theirs, or is that the neighbor's?
Oh, yes, that's a gate.
The gate, and so is that the fence, is their fence too that goes across?
Yes, there is a fence, there is a wood fence, that we do not focus on it.
Okay.
But that was approved in the, 2 years ago.
Right. We remember.
The thing is, we cannot paint the fence the same brown, it becomes.
Oh, no, I totally agree, yeah. I'm just curious whether the black in light of the white, that's still,
Well, I can work open to.
I feel like it's very personal, but what do you think?
I think I'd rather see it
Yeah. Okay, we'll leave that. I think it's very personal, they won't block this shit, that's fine. Okay.
black. Okay. Any questions? No, sir. Okay, do we have a motion to approve? Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
All right, good luck.
Great plan, isn't it? Yes.
You want to take these with you? Thank you. All right, so you're set to get back.
Yeah.
This is also what did you say as far as nothing around?
Because she just looks very calm, this is
Did you
expected.
say about, did you tell me that you weren't going to be around for a certain,
I'm around except for July 4th to July 15th.
and you're out July
That's when
9th?
I'm gone.
I don't know.
Of course.
So, I had already written to James, though. James can fill in for
Actually,
me.
the 15th is a Monday, I'm back by that Monday, so it's actually 4 to 14.
Yeah, that's when I'm back also.
You're back by the Monday too?
I'm back by the Monday, but aren't we meeting?
That's not, yeah, we don't need,
Oh, okay.
we need to send.
Exactly.
Wait a minute now.
No, whatever it is. James said he could be here for me. But he couldn't be here tonight, but he could be here then.
But James is a regular.
That's right, I forgot. Why did I ask him that? The regular. I thought I asked him that to make sure there would be 3 people. Yeah, when I wrote to him.
And, so you're out, you're both out.
Oh, that can.
But we're not here, maybe you want to ask them to flip it to the.
Well, let me just see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you around the 8th?
I'm around the 8th, the 15th, probably not.
Well, that's okay, because with the 8th and 22nd.
Yeah.
22nd, you're around?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me see
My
that
daughter
picture
had her-
again.
They had the show. So my daughter had her senior portrait. She's a senior in high school, and she says to me, "You're gonna love my senior portrait." She brought my funny dog.
Is she crazy?
Look at the face on her, though.
She got her in kindergarten, and she's
She
like,
looks like
Really?
she's.
she got one when she was a kid, and she's like, we're both graduating, we have to be in the photo. I
She
did that
looks like
photo,
she's supposed to have the dog.
I did
She's
that
so
photo
serious.
today, I was like, I'm gonna kill you. My daughter, for her senior portrait, she put the dog on her. I said, how did the photographer even allow you to do that?
I'm surprised that he gave her a hard time.
They did, they thought it was hysterical.
James just said, just
Oh, we
landed,
don't
sorry,
know.
I can't make it see.
Oh, she's going interesting.
Yeah,
here.
so
Okay.
they just
Do
did.
you have any concerns, issues? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?